What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. This is Talking Commanders with Manny podcast. So, the Commanders lose a tough game in overtime, 34-31 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, coming into the game, I'm looking at the game like, man, we're playing the Eagles. I didn't have much expectations because the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. Now, I was pretty optimistic that the Commanders had a chance to win this game. I mean, division games are division games. Timeout Sports, what's good? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. Timeout Sports says the refs screwed us. Absolutely. The refs screwed us. That catch by Terry was a catch. But you know what? It is what it is. I can't get too mad because at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. As I'm recording this podcast, I'm also watching the Monday Night Football versus it's the Seahawks versus the Giants, and I am enjoying watching Seattle destroy the Giants. Right now, the Giants are the worst team in the NFC East. It is not the Commanders. It's no longer the Commanders as the worst team. But as we dissect this game, it was a game that we should have won. We could have won, but there's no such thing as a moral victory. At the end of the day, the Commanders played well. The Commanders could have won this game. Sam Howell played an excellent game, and it could be Sam Howell's best game as a pro thus far. Sam Howell threw the ball 41 times. He completed 29 passes for 290 yards, and then he also had a passing touchdown. He was sacked 5 times, but not all 5 sacks were on the offensive line. Sam Howell did a good job of eluding these guys and getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Sam Howell was very decisive. That's one thing that I did love about Sam Howell this game. Now, Brian Robinson Jr., he could have had an even bigger day. He had 14 carries for 45 yards and a score. He should have had a second score, but he fumbled in the end zone, and Terry McLaurin luckily recovered that. So I appreciate what Terry was able to do for us. Sam Howell had 6 carries for 40 yards. Antonio Gibson pitched in 6 times for 19 yards. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous every time I saw this guy touch the ball. It was crazy. Ladarius Grant says, blatant hold on that Patrick Mahomes run, shaking my head. Absolutely. But the Chiefs were able to pull off their game and their win. And speaking of the Chiefs, you see Zach Wilson with his progression. Each year he's getting better. Each game he's getting better. And that's what I like to see out of young QBs, similar to Sam Howell. This is what his 5th NFL game starting, and really in a small sample size that I've seen out of Sam Howell, I believe that Sam Howell could be the franchise quarterback for the Commanders. What a way to bounce back. After having 4 interceptions versus the Buffalo Bills, you come out and you play well to where you didn't turn over the ball. And then on top of that, you were decisive. You made clutch plays. You knew when to run. You knew when to pass. You were able to elude a lot of the pass rush from the Eagles. It could have been an uglier game, but I think that Sam Howell played well, and we just might have something in Sam Howell. So I'm excited about that. We talked about Terry last game. I talked about Terry on my Twitter. How can you get Terry the ball? Terry was targeted 10 times for 8 receptions for 86 yards. And of course, he had that fumble recovery for a touchdown. So Terry played his best game of the season thus far. Dyami Brown, I was talking to my guy, Razman, and he's a big Dyami Brown fan. Prior to coming into the league, he was excited about Dyami Brown, especially in fantasy. And I told him, Dyami Brown is playing ball this year. He was targeted 3 times. He caught 2 receptions for 51 yards, including that long of 35. Dyami Brown has made some plays this year, and he continues to get better. He's a depth piece right now until a guy like Curtis Samuel or somebody is gone. He's the 4th best receiver on the team. But yet I've loved what I've seen out of Dyami Brown this year. And had he caught that other deep pass, had Sam thrown a better ball, who knows? Maybe Dyami Brown has a bigger game. Maybe he has like a 3-catch, 80 or 90-yard type game. But yeah, I love what I'm seeing out of Dyami Brown. Curtis Samuel, once again, shows why he's so versatile. Not only did he get a rushing touchdown, he also had 8 targets, 7 receptions for 51 yards. Offense wasn't a problem. We're going to get to the defense in just a minute. Offense was not the problem. Jahan Dotson, He caught that touchdown that tied the game. Now, for those of you guys that are watching the replay, for those of you guys that are watching live, should the Commanders have gone for 2 after tying the game in the fourth quarter? I was for going for 1, but who knows? Maybe they should have gone for 2. It just all depends on how you feel. And the defense wasn't really able to stop Jalen Hurts all day, so maybe they should have gone for 2. But it's just one of those things where you just don't know. The last time we went for 2 in a situation like this was that Giants game, and that pissed me off. I did not want to go for 2, but I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, we got the coin flip, we got the ball back, so we had a chance to win regardless had we gone for 2 or not. It just is what it is. Timeout Sports says, let me see. He says, hard to say. I knew they wouldn't. Yeah, I knew they wouldn't either. I mean, Ron Rivera did go for it in that Giants game. He could have gone for it here. We did have a lot of momentum, but to be honest, the pass that Sam Howell made was a miracle. It was a nice pass, but to do it 2 plays in a row, I just didn't see that happening. Had we gone for 2, I think we would have lost the game right then and there. Momentum or not. That's just my opinion. Legendary Grant says the Commanders should have gone for 2. So it goes both ways. It's hard to say. I felt like either way, we had the momentum. We won the coin flip. We got the ball, but we all know how that went. So I'm not going to get more into that, but it just is what it is. It just is what it is. Let's talk about the defense. Cameron Curl led the team in tackles, 12 tackles, 9 solo, 1 sack. Cody Barton, 9 tackles. Emmanuel Forbes, 9 tackles. Now, Emmanuel Forbes, he's a guy that I'm like on and off on. I don't know what to think of Emmanuel Forbes. He makes good plays, but we always knew that as a playmaker, you're going to gamble a lot, and it's just what tends to happen. Man, can they get Daniel Jones? I'm sorry, I'm watching this game as well as I stream, and I need the Giants to lose badly, and I need my fantasy team. I need Seattle's defense to turn up. But yeah, Jamin Davis, he had a few plays. But as a whole, the defense did not play well. And is this a Jack Del Rio thing? It's really, truly annoying. But we did have 3 sacks. So it's an improvement from the Buffalo game to where we couldn't get a sack on Josh Allen. And then now we're able to get 3 sacks on Jalen Hurts, who to me is a better runner. Not as a great pass, he's not a great passer compared to a Josh Allen, in my opinion. But we were able to get him 3 times. Chase Young got a sack. I'm glad to see Chase Young playing well. Jonathan Allen got a sack as well. We got pressure on him. We made him uncomfortable, but it was just a few plays here and there. Defense, penalties. It just is what it is. But on the same in the same token, we also got penalties as well. Penalty yards that kind of helped us put us in scoring positions. But a very winnable game. I don't see a lot of mistakes from this offense. It was just more so Del Rio, the way that he was able to dial it up or not dial it up. Del Rio, man, I don't know, I don't know how much of this I can take. There's an interesting stat that I've seen on Del Rio, and I'm going to get into that as we continue the show. Now, I got some questions or some comments in the chat. Legendary Grant says, off topic, but is Shedeur good for real, or is his stock overrated because of Prime? That I really can't say. I think that Shedeur is a good quarterback. He'll be if he comes out, he's definitely a first rounder. I can't say if he's good or if he's overrated. I've seen him make plays. We'll see, because I don't like to compare college to pros. One guy was telling me how great Desmond Ridder was, and look at Desmond Ridder today. He doesn't look good. And if we go back into the quarterback class that Sam Howell came out from, you have Kenny Pickett, who was the first round pick. Sam looks better than Kenny Pickett. Like, a lot of guys have said Sam was the best quarterback out of that class. Desmond Ridder was a third. Who else? Malik Willis, a 3rd round pick. And I mean, it just is what it is. Wasn't Brock Purdy in that draft? I cannot remember. If Brock Purdy was in that draft, Brock Purdy was a 7th rounder. I'm not sure. But either way it goes, man, sometimes you just can't. What you see in college is not what translates to the NFL. Time Out Sports says Shedeur is great. I think he's pretty good, but like I said, I don't put too much hope in any prospect until they get into the league and get into the right system, because he can go to a terrible coach, a terrible system, and then look terrible. But so far in college, he's looked great. I liked Hendon Hooker in college. He got hurt. He should have been the first rounder. He might be one of the top QBs in this class when he finally gets his opportunity. So sometimes they translate, sometimes they don't. Look at the quarterback class that Dwayne Haskins came out, and Kyler Murray, Drew Luck. Drew Luck looked okay. I mean, he has a spurt. So with quarterbacks, I don't know how to assess them. I really don't. It's just sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. All right, says I feel so bad for Fields. He's going out sad like how Baker did with the Browns. Yeah, man, that's the thing with quarterbacks, man. Some are good, some are bad. Some translate, some don't. I don't think that Fields is a good QB, but my Commanders will face the Bears on Thursday, and I'm excited about that. It's a great way to start my week. That way I don't have to worry about football on Sunday. Just really focus on my fantasy team. So the Commanders should be able to pull that off. Timeout Sports writes in the chat, Hendon is a good guy. From my city, met him before. Hope he gets healthy and on the field. I hope he gets on the field as well. I mean, he's 25 years young. And Jared Goff is playing great. Jared Goff is playing amazing. So it could be a situation where Hendon Hooker sits for a couple years, maybe 3 years. It just all depends on what that contract looks like for Jared Goff. And then, you can assess what happens there. Like, there's no problem with having young QBs on the roster. Look at Jordan Love. Got to learn from Aaron Rodgers for almost 3 years? 3 years. So he looks good in the small sample size. And that's what I love to see out of quarterbacks, how they can just learn and just be in the system. Trey Lance is going to be fine. A lot like right now, folks are roasting him, and he's not good. He's this, he's that. Zach Wilson. So there's some of these young QBs that it takes time for these guys to really mature. Look at Geno Smith, who's playing tonight. Look at his route. Look at his journey to becoming an NFL starting quarterback. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know how to assess the QB market and these QBs coming out. But if you get the right guy and if you groom them right and you put all the tools around them, they end up potentially turning into something. I love what the Commanders have around Sam Howell right now, which is having two really good wide receivers in Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. Don't sleep on Curtis Samuel as well. Logan Thomas is solid when he's actually healthy. So I love what they have around Sam. But I had a talk with my uncle. Let's talk more about the Commanders. I told him, man, I kept receipts for everybody who said Sam Howell sucked or Sam Howell is this, Sam Howell is that. I said one of the qualities that I love about Sam Howell is how he's able to rebound and recover after a bad game, after a bad play. With that Buffalo game, it was just so many bad plays already that how can you recover? You're down by 1 million points and the team is putting the ball or making you be the focal point to bring the team back. So you're bound to make mistakes. You're going to be under pressure because you have to throw the ball. So Sam just got in over his head, and it just became 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions. And had the game continue to go, he might have had 7 interceptions by the time the game was over with. These guys pinned their ears back, and they just knew, hey, attack Sam, go after the quarterback, make them throw. And that's kind of what happened. You see, one thing that I did see out of Sam was he was decisive. He made his moves. He tried to get the ball out quicker. Sometimes he held the ball and got sacked, but there was times when he did hold the ball and then throw the ball and eluded the defenders and was able to make that play. He extended plays. Guys like Darius Slay was like, man, shout out to Sam Howell. He's going to be something. He has a future. He played well. So you have people giving Sam credit. But with all that being said, it just wasn't enough to pull this win off because of a Jack Del Rio starting games starting like the season, giving up a lot of points. I'm going to pull up this stat that I saw on our Twitter for Jack Del Rio's tenure here. I saved it as a bookmark because I wanted to pull this thing up. All right, so here's Jack Del Rio in 2020 with the Commanders. Games 1 through 4 in 2020, the team was giving up 28 points per game. Then games 5 through 16, it was 18.1 points per game. Now, in 2021, games 1 through 4, the team was giving up 30.5 points per game. Now, in 2021, still, games 5 through 17, the team was giving up 24 points per game. That's still very high. In 2022, games 1 through 4, the team was giving up 26.8 points per game. Games 5 through 17 in 2022, the team was giving up 18.2 points per game. Now, this current year, 2023, once again, games 1 through 4, the Commanders are giving up 30 points per game. Now, what does things look like for the Commanders games 5 through 17? That I can't tell you, but I can tell you that these next 6 games or these next 4 or 5 games for the Commanders look nice and look promising. These are winnable games. The schedule kind of softens up a bit because I'm not gonna lie to you. Playing Buffalo and Eagles on back-to-back, like to be able to be 2-2 heading into week 5 is a beautiful thing right now. Andre, what's good, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. I'm about to put your comment on the screen. Andre writes, me personally, Manny, I want to see Ron Rivera give Howell and that offense a chance to ice the game. I'm not mad at you. I am not mad at you at all. It's Andre writes, majorly disappointed. I'm not mad at you at all. After that touchdown was scored by Sam Howell, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I said, look, from this point on, I don't really care what happens. And let me explain why I say what I say. When I say I don't care, obviously I want to win. I'm a fan. As a fan, I want every single win. I want to go 17-0. Is that going to happen? Possibly not. But this is one thing I would say. Scoring that touchdown, leading that drive to potentially win the game or to come back to tie the game, to send the game to overtime, that was promising for me. Like I told you guys, I want to see growth out of Sam Howell, and I'm seeing growth as the season progresses. You can't continue to make the same mistakes. This game, he played mistake-free football. Obviously, there was a play or two. Had he hit Terry in stride when Terry went deep, that would have been a touchdown. Other than that, I don't really see much flaws in Sam Howell's game this past Sunday. Now, with that being said, after he scored that touchdown, I said to myself, whether they go for 2, whether they go to overtime, either way it goes, I am happy that the team fought. This is not going to be a team that's going to be an easy out. Even if it takes the Commanders to win close games, whether we can win close games or lose close games, because that's all the Giants did last year. They played defense, they protected the ball. And I told you guys, my keys to victory in every game is the Commanders have to win the turnover battle. And I believe that we didn't get a turnover this game, and I don't believe that the Eagles turned over the ball as well. And, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. Had we gotten a turnover, a takeaway or 2, it definitely could have changed the whole dynamics of the game. That didn't happen, so I'm not too upset. So, with our schedule, and I'm going to talk about what we know so far about the NFL as well. We beat the Arizona Cardinals, who we felt was going to be a terrible team with no Kyler Murray, with no this, no that. Look, these boys play tough. The Arizona Cardinals are here to play ball this season. I love their tenacity on offense and defense. Joshua Dobbs is showing people that he is an NFL caliber starting QB. Just like Taylor Heineke, they might not be the best. They might be number 30 out of 30 or 29 out of 30 or bottom 20, early 30. It doesn't matter. What matters is that these guys are playing tough. And I'm telling you guys, Arizona is going to be tough all season. They played the Commanders tough, right? 20-16, we pulled it off. At that time, I'm thinking, okay, easy win. But then when I see the Arizona Cardinals, play some people, win. I don't know if they've won a game or not, but they've played everybody that they've played tough. They've played everybody tough, right? I'm going to look more into Arizona in a minute. Then we play the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Broncos. They might as well be the Nuggets. They're dropping nuggets all over the field. So we beat them 35-33, and I'm thinking, man, we put up mad points. on this team that's quality. Then we see the Miami Dolphins put up 70 points on the same Denver Broncos. So that tells me that they're not a good defense. So, okay, it was easy to put up 35 points on those guys. All right, cool. We played the Buffalo Bills, and we just never could put anything together. And we lost that game 37-3. I mean, somehow it looked as bad as he's going to look, right? But then we go play Philly in Philly. So that's that's not an easy place to go play. You play Philly, and at the end of the day, it was a tough game. We almost won. We lost the game. We put up 31 points versus Philly. And mind you, their defense is nice. I heard so much about their front line. Obviously, when we were in, trying to come back mode, they were able to get, a couple sacks that weren't in the norm. For the most part, offensive line tried. Sam Howell tried, but, they got us 5 times. And Sam Howell was able to extend the game. Now, I was talking about the schedule and how the schedule eases up a bit, how the schedule gets a little bit better for the Commanders. I don't have to look too far ahead because each game is different, each scenario is different, and then there could be injuries both ways that swing the game either way. So when you look at the Bears coming to FedEx on Thursday, that's a game that's very winnable. These same Bears play just as terrible of a defense as the Denver Broncos. So I expect every Commander's offensive weapon to go off. I expect this to be a Brian Robinson game. I believe it was the last time we played the Bears. Was it last year? Brian Robinson had a decent game running the ball. I'll do a preview show breaking down the last matchup versus this matchup and what we need to do to frustrate Justin Fields, who just had his best game of his career. But guess who did it? Guess who he did it against? The Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos are showing you that they are not a quality team, neither are they a quality defense or a well-coached team. Same thing you can say about the Bears. Like, that was just a game that was just 2 bad teams. Somebody had to win. So the Bears are a team that we cannot overlook. They're looking at us like, well, the Commanders don't got it all together. But I'm looking at the Bears like, man, we just played Buffalo and Philly. Man, we need this. So this should be a game where you have Chase Young going off. You have Montez Sweat going off. Maybe a Daron Payne sack coming up. Maybe a few interceptions coming up. Being Justin Fields has not looked good at all. Now, if they unleash Justin Fields as a runner, I think that's where the Commanders could struggle. They struggled versus running QBs. And it's crazy that we've played 4 straight running QBs in Dobbs, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Hurts, and then now we're going to play Justin Fields. It doesn't end there. We play Desmond Ridder, decent runner, but doesn't like to run. We play Daniel Jones. Then we play Philly once more. So that's a bunch of rushing QBs. I don't think that's where the Commanders excel, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is. Now, as I speak, Daniel Jones runs for a big gain for the Giants. They're in scoring possession. Hopefully, Seattle can stop these guys and get the Giants a loss, because I need the Commanders to be above the Giants. Is the Giants' turn to be the worst team in the NFC East this season, since everybody takes turns on who's the best team, who's the worst team. Hopefully it's them. But yeah, the schedule opens up for the Commanders starting from week 5. From week 5 to week 7 is a sweet spot where you have the Bears, the Falcons, and the Giants. All 3 games are winnable. Will they win all 3? I don't know. Would it be nice to win all 3? Yes, that would be lovely. That will put you at a record of 5-2, and that's where we want to be. You got to be able to get these wins when you can. Now, Philly again at home, I think that's when the Commanders show Philly, hey, we are the better team. You got to have that confidence. So I think the next time we play Philly, we should be able to get that game. We should be. We owe Philly one. Followed by the New England Patriots, who have not looked good. You have Seattle, who is up and down, right? So we don't know what we're going to get out of Seattle. Giants again. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who I cannot wait to play because they don't look the same. They don't look quite the same. Although they were able to beat the Patriots really, really bad, the Patriots are not a good team this year. So, yes, just as I'm talking, Daniel Jones throws an interception, and it could be a pick 6. Oh, my gosh. He's running. Oh, my gosh. Seattle has returned this pick six, 70, 80 something yards. They go up 20-3. Daniel Jones pick six in they was first and goal. I am excited about that. And for my fantasy team, I might have just got my first victory in the home league. So I needed this Seattle pick six. It was beautiful. And that's Devon Witherspoon, the rookie. They was talking about him. They were saying Witherspoon, he's played well this year. And then boom, just like that, he gets a 97-yard pick six. Giants are definitely the worst team in the league this year. They struggle to score. These guys have not scored a touchdown in the first half this season. So, Commanders fans, as you guys get mad at Sam and say this and say that, it could be worse. I talked about QBs. And right now, today, the 2nd of October at 9:33 p.m. Central Time, Daniel Jones is the worst QB in the NFC East. Look at Dayball talking to him. Daniel Jones is pissed off. I am loving what I am seeing. I am so glad that Seattle is destroying the Giants. This is what we want. But back to the schedule. After the Patriots, we play Seattle, who, like I said, is up and down. You play the Giants again. You play Dallas. Then you play Miami. Miami, that's like the toughest opponent that we possibly face again this season so far on the schedule. It's going to be Miami and obviously the Eagles. You can't discount them. You can't discount the Cowboys or anybody in the NFC East. Everybody plays tough versus everybody in the NFC East. You play the Rams, who's been kind of up and down this year, but they should have Cooper Kupp. They should be fully healthy by that time, but we don't know what they look like at that moment. Also, you have the 49ers, who are possibly maybe the best team in the league. I don't know. People are saying Philly is undefeated, but man, Christian McCaffrey, 4 touchdowns yesterday. So, I mean, looking at the Commander schedule, man, I definitely see some winnable games, lots of winnable games. Teams like the Jets, who've been so bad this year. I can see us getting Dallas one more time, getting a win versus Dallas, right? So let's just count. I don't want to look too much ahead, but let's just count. I'm going to count all the winnable games. So right now we're at 2 wins, right? We can beat the Bears. That's 3. We can beat Atlanta. That's 4. We can beat the Giants at least one time. That's 5. We're going to get Philly. That's 6. Now, it'll be crazy if we end up 6-2 right there. I don't know. It could be, 5-3 or 6-2 at that point. I don't know. So that's 6. I'm going to just count Philly as 6. New England, winnable game, 7. Seattle, winnable game, 8. The Giants, I don't see the Giants winning much games this year. I'm going to count 9. I'm going to count us getting the Giants twice, 9. Dallas will probably lose 1. Miami lose. Rams, very winnable, 10. Jets, very winnable, 11. Then, of course, you have San Francisco. I'm going to just count that as a loss. And then Dallas again, I'm going to count that as a win. So 12 winnable games. But then, the NFL, you can count, you can get excited, and things could just happen. All I'm saying is that we have a favorable schedule the rest of the season. We've played 2 of the toughest teams that we'll ever play all season, back to back. So Sam is growing. The defense typically gets better from game 5 on, right? So this could be that time when that defense catches that surge. So just overall, I don't have much to say about the game. I can't be upset at too much, other than Jack Del Rio on the defense looked bad. Sam Howell in the offense looked great. This loss wasn't on Ron Rivera not going for 2. This loss was not on Sam Howell. This loss was not on the offense. This was not about Terry not getting enough targets. He got targets. We kind of fixed every issue outside of the offensive line. Every issue that we could have offensively, tight ends got involved, running backs got involved, receivers got involved, Antonio Gibson's touches were a little less, which is what I love. But I'm just really it's on to Chicago. I can't make no excuses on why we lost the game. It just doesn't matter at this point. All I can say is that the Commanders played well. They put themselves in position to win. Now we can just hope that we can carry the momentum and the good things that we've done, the good habits, and then carry that into the Chicago game. And then you continue that to the Atlanta game and so on and so forth. to kind of rank up some wins, tally up some wins, and get this thing done. So, guys, this is the Talking Commanders with Manny podcast. I know that today we talked about different things that were possibly off topic, but it's a live stream. And when the people comment and ask questions in the chat, I give the people what they want. I always answer every comment, every question in the chat. And now I'm going to enjoy the rest of this Giants versus Seattle game. I'm going to enjoy watching the New York Giants struggle. I'm going to enjoy watching Daniel Jones throw more pick sixes and more fumble sixes and get sacked. I'm just going to enjoy it and just bask in the glory that after 4 weeks, the Commanders are not the worst team in the NFC East. So that's growth in itself. And then you just kind of work your way up. You plan for the Eagles one more time. You plan to dominate the Giants like they've been dominating us since Daniel Jones have been their quarterback. And then we also want to, let's take it to Dallas this year. So, guys, I'm going to catch you guys on the next stream, on the next episode. For those of you guys that are catching the replay, please let me know your thoughts on the game in the comment section, and then I promise you guys that I will respond. Once again, this is the Talking Commanders with Manny podcast on the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. I'm going to catch you guys later. All right, man. Peace.